Welcome back to Masters of Brickjitzu-Cast. I'm your host, Ninja Whip, and today we have a very, very special guest with us, a pretty long-time Ninjago fan. He's going to tell us his story about the playtesting. Back in 2016, he was a playtester for Lego and a marketing strategy thing, and he's going to tell us all about it. First, like I said, I'm Ninja Whip. We're going to go through the panel, and then we'll let old Andrew here introduce himself and tell him his story.
Yeah, Amaze, A.K.A Maverick Opinions. You go, Logan.
Hey, I'm Logan, A.K.A _brick_dude_ on Instagram. And go Pen.
I am Pen of Pen Plays, kind of all over the place, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, talking about all things sort of Lego. Josh, you go ahead.
All right, I'm Joshua. You can find me at JoshuaD_17 on Twitter.
All you, Andrew.
Okay, hello to all viewers. I'm Andrew A.A.44Presto. As Braden said, in 2016, I was part of like a market playtesting thing for Lego Ninjago. It was 5 years ago, so it is a little fuzzy in my memory, but I've written down everything that I remember, so I'll just go through that. So
Awesome.
I think I believe I got invited to do it like over the phone. I don't know if like my parents signed me up for anything, but like yeah, I just got a phone call from like this market research person. They asked me a little bit of information about Ninjago and the show. And I guess I gave them enough because then they invited me to this thing. And there were like roughly 10 other boys there, so they probably pulled around in like the general area to get kids for that. And I was shown the 2018 season, so it was Sons of Garmadon and Hunted, although it was actually not in that order. They showed us Hunted first, Sons of Garmadon second, which leads me to believe that originally Hunted was supposed to take place first. So Hunted, it took place in Ninjago rather than another realm. And the MacGuffins of the season were originally these dragon axes. I think these are in some of like the concept arts that have been released to the public.
Yep, for sure are.
Yeah, but they sort of like controlled the dragons, I guess. Like whoever held them got to control the dragon, and more than Ninja had dragons, so they were elemental dragons effectively. And the dragon hunters remained mostly the same. Like they had the big post-apocalyptic Mad Max style stuff with like the orange chains. And yeah, they sort of corrupted the land of Ninjago, like as they took down each dragon and got each dragon axe, kind of like the Oni in March of the Oni. And for the sets themselves, I only remember seeing Kai, Jay, and Cole's dragon, which I believe are the only three that actually made it into the sets in the final version. But like the designs I remember for them are mostly the same. Like Jay's was really long and skinny. The red dragon, well, I'll get to that in a minute, but the red dragon had a really large wingspan, and the earth dragon was kind of like small and bulky. But yeah, Firstborn was originally just Kai's dragon. Like, not Firstborn, they didn't give us the name or anything. It was just Kai's dragon. That might have just been for like a marketing thing, like to try to appeal to the kids more. Like, say, oh, it's the red fire dragon, it's Kai's. But I thought that was interesting. And and Dieselknot, I think, was originally a lot smaller than the released version. Like, it was a lot shorter, and it was a lot, like, lengthwise it was shorter, height-wise it was taller, so I might be misremembering that, but that kind of stuck out to me. And also, the Dragon Hunter's helicopter that came in the Firstborn set, that was originally its own set. They presented it to us as its own set, so I'm assuming that probably just couldn't fit in the set budget, and they had to group it in with Firstborn.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, so, and for Sons of Garmadon, the plot is largely the same. You got the 3 Oni masks. Garmadon was returning. That was like the whole point of the season. More Than Ninja had vehicles, like again in the concept arts. Like there were more bikes and cars to go around, I guess. And Harumi was not mentioned. Maybe that was because it was a spoiler, but I don't remember them talking about her at all. So she may have been added later in production. But the two sets that I remember being shown were the Nightcrawler, and the Temple of Resurrection. So the Ninja Nightcrawler, they showed us like 3 different versions of the set. They each had slightly different play features, where like you pushed down and the guns popped out. And for the Temple of Resurrection, the play feature was the same, where like the roof sort of collapsed in on itself and Garmadon appeared. And that's it for both those seasons, but also they did ask us about like the box art and like which character we thought should be on the box art, which I thought was kind of weird because normally you have like the focus ninja or the most prominent ninja on the box, but like they sort of like polled us, like they had us vote on whether we wanted it to be Garmadon, Wu, or a generic ninja. So I forget what I voted for, but Garmadon and Wu ended up being on the final boxes.
That's so cool. A question real fast. Was the Golden Dragon Master at all mentioned, like Teen Wu? Was that even a thing at the time? If you remember that at all?
No, I don't. I think, yeah, Wu was not mentioned outside of the box art, so I think that also that changed with like when they flipped the seasons and made Hunted in the first realm. That was added at that point.
Wow, that's awesome. So cool.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much everything. So if you guys have any questions that you wanted to ask, you can.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think anyone like in the greater Ninjago community has really done this other than you, but I mean, people come out of the woodworks all the time like you. And so just kind of giving us an idea of like, how did this process go down once you were inside? Like, yes, they showed you the sets, but were you allowed to like actually like physically remove pieces from them, see what would be breaking, what would not be breaking, stuff like that?
They didn't really have us do that. It might have been because like we were sort of like an older group, like 9, 10, 11-year-olds, and they might have wanted to leave that to younger kids, but they really only showed us the sets. Like they had some people come in who I assume were set designers, and like they showed us all the play features, but they never let us get hands on.
Ah, gotcha.
Did you guys see like any art or footage of like the season or like any like concept art, stuff like that?
We didn't get to see any footage of the season, but we did see a lot of the concept art. That was what inspired me to make the comment on the video, because I recognized a lot of the concept art shown there, and that brought back a lot of memories.
Nice. That's awesome.
You dug up his PTSD, Braden. How could you?
Oh, no. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, man. What a cool story. That's incredible. And the fact that you were able to remember all that is awesome, man. Does anyone have any more questions for Andrew by chance?
I do. In when being shown off the features and such for some of the offerings that they had, were there any features that you really, really liked that didn't end up in any of the final products?
I can't remember any vividly. I think there was one distinct feature on the Dragon Hunter's helicopter. I remember being shown the stud shooters and that you could rotate the rotors. But I feel like there was something else that just ended up not coming in. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Were you shown like show accurate figures for what would be in the show, or were they like more preliminary figures?
They seemed more preliminary, except for Garmadon. I remember in the temple set, Garmadon was there. Like you could tell it was a new figure. So yeah,
Awesome.
they probably designed that pretty early on.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. They didn't have Harumi in the temple set when they showed it to you. I was wondering if they included the minifigures as well. But...
Yeah, I think that could just be attributed to like not having like certain molds or printed pieces, because they did show figures with the sets. Although I think some of them probably like in the preliminary images that sometimes get leaked Ninjago. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this, but like you can see some of the ninja reuse old parts, and I think that's what happened there.
Oh wow. Okay. I mean that makes sense, really. Yeah. Interesting. Very
And it's
interesting.
also fair that just for the audience, we should stick a date on this. This was like around the same time as like Skybound when it was airing. This is how far
Right.
off the team was.
Yeah, I think this was like probably September or even August of 2016.
So crazy.
Wow.
Even crazier when you
Wow.
consider that we hadn't even seen the Lego Ninjago movie in any form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When,
Yeah,
and
Ninja
how that
Time came out
influenced
beforehand.
and how it influenced all the rest of the seasons after that too. So even though they were preliminary ninja, that you very well could have been one of the first people to ever see any variant of the movie version of Lord Garmadon, which is really interesting to think about.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I think you're right. The movie probably did have a large influence on like how the seasons turned out, why they might have their order might have been reversed, why so much of the lore is different.
I'm interested. Did they vividly say like was Hunted before 9 or did they tell you the concept or like where did you get that from?
That was just the order that they showed it to us in. They didn't say, they never gave us an order, so I always assumed that it was that way.
Gotcha.
But like they never gave us like the setup for the season or anything. They just told us what would be happening.
That's
That's
wild,
awesome.
man.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
I'm
I
still
like
trying to
the-
process.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I like the little thing you said where it originally the dragon hunters were gonna like corrupt Ninjago and all that. I think it's just cool that they kind of like took that idea and then made March of the Oni out of it.
Yeah, I agree. That is pretty interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And since we got you on here, what just out of curiosity for the fans, maybe they want they want to know a little bit more about you. What is your favorite Ninjago season?
This might be controversial, but Skybound.
That's a great
What?
season. We like that one.
People disrespect Skybound way too much because of the finale.
It's a
Yeah.
good finale too.
Just
I
because
mean,
Yeah.
nice doesn't mean it's
Yeah.
not good.
I honestly
Still
think
happen.
the beginning was worse than the end.
Yeah.
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 Definitely, I could agree with you. I think the famous ninja thing was a little out there, but yeah, I agree with you. Another thing, what is your favorite Ninjago set?
I'm gonna have to go with the Ultra Combo Mech from this year because
Very
it's
tasteful.
yeah, because I have always like ever since I've been into Ninjago, I have always wanted like a giant mech that could split off into different vehicles for each ninja. And when it came out, the 7-year-old inside of me freaked out.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. That's fantastic.
Man gets it. This man gets it, y'all.
For sure.
Ever
Are
from
there
the
any,
start, hearing the concept, so it was just like, "Yep, I'm gonna love that thing." And now it's on my shelves, and I don't regret a single. I don't regret a single moment hyping it up.
Yeah, it is phenomenal. One thing I was going to ask you real fast is: are any highlights to that set that you just love so much? Like, are there any things that you would love to see in the future, or anything that you would just like absolutely like if you could bring something out of that set into the future, or if there's something that you really like, you would like to see again? Like, what is that?
Well, I do really appreciate how it gave each ninja a distinct vehicle. Like in the past, when like for the ultrasonic raiders and stealth raiders, like they can split off into 4 parts, but like none of the individual vehicles was really specific to a ninja. I think this set really gave each vehicle its own identity and sort of it made it more unique, I guess.
Mhm.
For sure, for sure. I
Yeah.
appreciate that answer.
Since you were a lot younger at the time, handling the test product and such, was there a shock that you felt when you actually got to see the final product when it released?
Yeah, when season 7 came out, I initially thought that they were going to be for season 7, but obviously that didn't happen. But then, like after season 7, that was sort of like when my Lego Dark Ages happened, and it became uninterested for a while. But then, like when I got back into Ninjago, like a year and a half later, I saw these sets, and I was like, "Oh crap, those are the ones that I saw."
Out
That's
of all the
so
ones
awesome.
that you got to test play or test, just look at, I guess.
Yeah.
Were there any that you picked up that you were like, I gotta have this once it's on shelves?
Well, there were two. First of all, it was the J Dragon because I'm a diehard J fan, but also the Diesel Knot because I love villain vehicles, especially when they're massive.
We
And
love
I
villain
thought that
I
was
vehicles.
love
really
the
cool.
Diesel Knot.
That's the one vehicle I regret not buying for sure. And I remember I saw that like a year ago, and it was still on shelves. And I regret. And the box is massive on that set. I did not expect the box to be that massive.
I
Yeah.
regret not getting the Dragon Pit.
Oh, that's
yeah,
another
the
thing I need
Dragon
to
Print.
ask.
Yeah, isn't that your,
My
your favorite set of all time, Brayden?
Yes, it's my favorite set. Did you see the Dragon Pit at all?
No, that I
Wow.
don't. Yeah, I don't think that was there. I think probably because it had so much to do with the setting of Hunted and how
Mm,
that was affected by the development.
That
I
makes sense.
see. That makes sense. Yeah,
That is
that's one of
fair
my
if you're
favorites.
talking about the original story. I wouldn't see why they would have like an arena if they're invading.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. True.
They took the time to set it up when they got here, okay? They needed it.
Maybe they're
took
just
some-
really fast
yeah.
builders.
They're very fast builders.
You've seen how they build in the Lego video games, of course.
Yeah, they did like that. Yeah.
I was gonna ask one more thing. Was in the concept art that they showed you, was there the Dragon Master there at all?
I don't think so. Maybe for the box art when they were asking about like Garmadon or Wu or generic ninja, I remember Wu didn't like look like his typical self, but I don't necessarily remember that outfit. So I think it's possible that it was there in that stage of development, but also like Harumi, they might have not had the molds for that yet.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And then were you
For
able
sure.
to see any of the spinners? Because I know they did like the dragonfly spinners.
No, they didn't show us any of the spinners.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Interesting. That is it for the Masters of Brickjitzu podcast. Thank you so much, Andrew, for coming on, talking to
No,
us
thank you
about
for
your
having
story.
me.
Dude, absolutely, man. We are so happy that you got to come on and share a little bit about yourself and your really awesome story. Again, guys, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button for more awesome Ninjago content, especially this awesome podcast we've got going on. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.